When did you say, I'm gonna do this and it's necessary?
After I made a, terrible mistake, being inside a club and, went live, I put myself in, a bad position.
You at the spot, Shotgun Willie's. I've been there. You were holding a gun. And we both know how dangerous that can be. Whose gun were you holding?
Well, the gun wasn't mine. It's not who I am. I don't condone any type of violence, but I take full responsibility for my actions. Made a bad mistake.
Grizzlies have suspended Ja Morant from team activities after he was seen flashing another gun in another IG Live video.
It's really hard to put this into words, but I'm going to try. As you know, I'm a Knicks fan, and we've talked about R.J. Barrett. Between Zion Williamson's body and Ja Morant's stupidity, R.J. Barrett might end up being the best pick. When you look at some of the things that has transpired, Ja Morant has already been suspended for 8 games, cost himself forfeited over $600,000. You know what the biggest issue here is? It's self-inflicted.
The best apology is change behavior. And when he was going through all this diatribe about what he learned about being away from the game, Skip, and how important it was to him, I say I see better than I hear. And so at this point in time, Skip, where I am, I'm not even upset at Ja. I'm not mad, I'm not disappointed, I'm not embarrassed. I'm mad, I'm upset, I'm disappointed, I'm disgusted by the people that defended him.
If I'm Adam Silver, I am taking a much harder look at, to me, what is the most damning allegation of them all. It's the incident with the Pacers. Because the story there was laser pointer with the same fella that was driving that car. Ja in a car with the guy. And it's like, no evidence there was a gun. I believe there was a gun now. I always thought it, but now I'm like, yeah, obviously play with guns.
The clicks and the mentions and the likes, why he does everything that he does. Skip, I need somebody to tell me the fascination he has with guns and feel that he needs to be on IG Live, that he needs to see people see him with that tool on him. What is that? Is that the only way you could listen to young boy, NBA young boy, Skip?
Stay in the house, or I just don't understand, for me, where, and again, it may not be just Ja.
Yeah.
Because there's situations with, the family.
All right, there was the Finish Line store incident at the mall. His mom, Ja's mom, gets into it. She doesn't like his service. You know how that happens, and you get a little irritated.
Right.
One thing leads to another, but she doesn't just call the manager. She calls her son.
Right.
This kid's giving me problems. I'll be there. I got you.
I don't condone any type of violence.
Ja, within 15 minutes, shows up at the Finish Line at the mall with, according to Busby and the people who worked at the store, with 8 or 9 friends. I'm not talking about 2 or 3. This says 8 or 9. Mm-hmm. The kid has to lock himself in the storeroom, and Ja goes back in the back and is banging on the storeroom door saying, come out, I'm going to beat your you-know-what up.
You know what, JC? The reason I asked him about the dad T is because that's important to me, right? If you got a son or daughter out there that's making mistakes and doing certain things, you want to try to reel them in no matter what the cost is. I had a son that had a college scholarship that was rolling. And this is, everybody, it's taboo because now it's pretty much legal all over the place. It's so in terms of smoking cannabis. But he was in college smoking cannabis at the University of Nebraska. And I simply said, they say don't do it. It's not legal to do, regardless to what.
But the NBA says in the bylaws, on premises, on an NBA business, you can't have a firearm. So all that, what you're talking about, the Constitution, is out the window because the NBA is a private entity.
So I snatched his ass out of school so he can understand you're going to sit tight. Not only are you not going to embarrass yourself, you're not going to embarrass me, you're not going to embarrass the university, you're not going to embarrass the coaches. Now, Ja is a grown man making millions on top of millions of dollars. There's no need to sit there and be a friend and a homeboy. I'm your daddy. So I see the big picture. I'm not afraid of getting cut off on the money side.
Your mom and dad did everything they could to protect you when you were growing up. So give you the best chance to be successful, to get out of the environment.
Because if all of a sudden, you not able to do your job, you taking money from us as a family, as a group, any damn way. So I gotta help you help yourself.
Have better than what he had growing up. He get to that point. And not only does he not want to go back to the middle class in which he came from, he want to go back to the trenches. He want to go back to the mud. And you want to live that lifestyle? For what?
Well, first of all, my son loves Ja Morant.
How old is your son?
13-year-old son loves Ja Morant. Now, from the tattoos to the, I'm a little jealous because I don't have hair, but the tattoos to the dreads to the everything like that, you know, these kids mimic him. So now you see this slap on the wrist 2 months ago to now, six incidents, by the way. 6 things happened. Well, 4 of them was gunplay.
Because I didn't want my kids to hear that a guy that they know was playing with guns. And so I was like, oh, let me leave it on. So then all of a sudden, my 6-year-old is like, Dad, that Ja Morant, the one with the braids? I'm like, yeah. She's like, he's really good, isn't he? And I was like, yeah, he's in trouble because he was playing with the gun. And they were like, well, why would he do that? So I'm not going to sit down here and break down and say he needs to get that. All I know is that if my little kids can see that that was a terrible, terrible decision, I don't know, there's no analysis for me to break down.
I don't know why Ja homeboys need to put, every time Ja get around, they need to be on IG Live. Ja roll with you. That should be good enough. That should be all the validation you need.
You know, whenever I talk to young guys, I always talk to them, first thing is privacy. You just gotta be private in what you do. And you can't let everybody in.
But they need further validation. That's why they pick up IG Live, Skippy. Look who you're in the car with your boy. I got Ja.
You're on Devontae Pack's IG Live, not on Jaws.
But I'm saying
this time.
He has to pick up his IG Live to get validation to say, I know Ja.
And you gotta have people around you that's making sure that you're thinking about the future.
What about to the Memphis Grizzlies? What about to the NBA? What about the Nike? What about the Powerade? Now, I want to know who's going to be the treasurer of that GoFundMe, because he's about to lose that NBA contract.
It's somebody that he's with deciding to go on Instagram Live. This is not TMZ or somebody finding out something and digging it from. It's self-inflicted. And I'm just imagining, because I remember speaking to Draymond Green on his podcast earlier this year, and one of the things he raved about when he talked about Ja Morant, he said Ja Morant is one of the most intelligent players in the game and one of the most intelligent athletes you will ever find. So if we want to eradicate the word stupidity, then we have to go to something deeper. There's got to be a problem here.
What about the Second Amendment, Shannon? He a law-abiding citizen.
And we're required to be role models. And that doesn't necessarily serve in other professions as entertainers, whether you're an artist or whether you're an actor. A lot of times this type of behavior is celebrated and or promoted. But when you're an athlete, it's punished. And for Ja to put himself in this situation just a short time after that scenario happened, I agree with Stephen A. This is going to be a 20-25 game suspension. It's unfortunate also for the organization because now it puts a damper going into next season.
But this is so reckless. And there are a lot of things, Wilds, that are not illegal that the NBA or your team would suspend you for. If Ja tweeted, Jaren Jackson Jr. is the most overrated defender in the league, can't believe he won Defensive Player of the Year, he would get in trouble. That is not against the law.
There's a lot of things you can do. But if I were to post it, Fox is going to have a problem with what I'm posting.
It's celebrated. Like, ooh, you get somebody who's edgy. You know, and that's not a good thing. So, did he do anything illegal? No. Did he do something that he knew would probably bring attention to himself?
Some things aren't meant to be posted. It's meant to be confined in your own home.
Yeah. So, in my eyes, the world we live in created this.
What he's playing with is life and instruments of life and death.
Correct. And Joy, if I can, and obviously we have to take y'all to break here soon, that's the issue I have with it, is Ja Morant, you are holding an instrument that carries other people and your own life in your hands. So what's your intention? I don't like how people are trying to make this a race issue. In my mind, it's not a race issue. It is an intention issue. You can't just be wielding a gun flippantly as if this is a toy, as if there aren't life and death being decided quite literally in front of us every single day based upon this weapon.
At the same time, you have a responsibility, bro. You know this. I hate to sound like this guy, but I'm gonna have to say it. Every little kid in their world want dreads and want to be the next Ja, and he it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he can't. Listen, we all been here. We all been here. And what somebody got to tell you is that, yo, can't do it like that no more, youngin'.
But I would tell every black man I know, particularly young black men, never to do that. Never do what he did, okay? I say that to say I am not defending or condoning, and I don't agree with what Ja Morant did.
You gotta tighten it up. You gotta do like this. And then,
But if doing it the other way ain't winning.
No, you gotta switch up.
I'm worried about Ja Morant's safety.
Yeah.
Because he is putting himself out there like he's a real gangster. And real gangsters may test him.
You do realize that your son is Ja Morant. You do realize that he's an NBA player, a very good NBA player, and you're putting him in harm's way. Because guess what? You mess around and call Ja, and guess what? One day, you're going to catch the wrong person on the right day.
That is correct.
And then I'm sorry, it's a misunderstanding. Ain't going to help nobody.
No, and your son's going to be gone for a long time.
Yeah, he might be gone. We hope that don't happen. But stop putting him in that situation.
But for his own good. I'm saying this for his own good. Because he needs a wake-up call that he is blowing his career either whether through an NBA suspension, obviously the endorsements, he lost $40 million from the All-NBA team, or he's putting himself in actual real danger by doing this stuff. So I hope he needs a wake-up call, and if it takes a suspension to do it, so be it.
Ja Morant could hold the world in the palm of his hands, but instead he chooses to hold a gun. And eventually, he's going to have to put that one down so that he can pick up what the NBA world has to offer.